mute up and tweet out. Welcome to episode 129 of the Guardian 1 podcast. We record live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I'm joined by Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
Sharks.
Technical issues, lag, and challenge mode. I need lots of drinks.
Gray.
Yeah, we're super red bar on this podcast.
And very special guest, Maynard James.
I am still on my third, so I haven't gotten carried away.
We're going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you for listening to the podcast, however it is that you are choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1net. That's G1NET. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to feedback@guardian1.net. We also have a Budgie.net forums group. We utilize the forums for both comments and feedback, so be sure to join the conversations going on there. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the live show, you can always find the podcast on iTunes, as well as upload it to the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all of the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at Guardians of D and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guardians of D. Other podcasts that are part of the Guardian Radio Network include Ghosts and Echoes, a podcast that contains a bit of fan fiction and audio versions of the Grimoire cards, as well as the Destiny lore-focused podcast called Focus Fire Chat. Once again, thanks for joining us on the podcast. I'll see you again next week.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Hollow River. Update on a future show with past panelists. Crimson Warlock says that he would be happy to show up for a show. He just needs a little bit of time in advance, and I'm really trying to figure out the best way to attack the river situation, because I don't want to lead into it too soon. I don't want to ask him too soon. What I want to do is I want to wait until there's information out there that's worth it to him to discuss. Like I want to.
Can't do that. Can't do that. Because
okay,
so I was this close to having River on the show a few weeks back, and he couldn't do it. So it has to be a pre-planned thing. We have to have it pre-planned. That's no. Work.
Listen, you're not getting what I'm saying. Get out of here. You're not getting what I'm saying. I'm saying to you that what's going to make him want to be on the show is some entertaining or some information that is worth talking about. So what I'm saying is, like, after the gameplay reveal or right around the beta. Like, I think that these are important dates. I'm not saying that we sneak attack him and try and get him on the show. That's not going to work. I'm saying there has to be a reason for him to want to stop bottling all this up, because, you know, if you ever watched the episode with River, he had a lot to say, a lot of opinion there. So yeah, trying to get him on. Let us face episode 129 with our very special guest, Maynard James. Maynard, how are you doing tonight?
Excellent. I was hoping to work out some of those kinks before the show, but needless to say, the fans had to experience it for us. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bummer. But any real fan knows that it's not really a Guardian 1 podcast if it's not 45 minutes of bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. When I was driving an hour to work at about the time the podcast started, yeah, I got used to getting about 10 minutes of show and 50 minutes of setup. So
and for the most part we don't have that now. Gray has very graciously taken over broadcasting, and so I'm not being forced to rely on some outdated technology. So it was kind of I'm really glad that we don't do this every week. But it's cool because it wasn't on me. Like if it was on me, I would be dying inside and I would be thinking, "Oh, I'm letting down everyone." But because it was you on your end, I'm good. Like I'm not stressing over it. I don't hate you. So I want to know where video games started for you. What was your first system? What was your first game where you said to yourself, "Oh my God, video games are amazing"?
I played a little Atari, not enough to enjoy it. It was the Nintendo for sure. My brother had a Nintendo, and I would play it with him occasionally. Eventually, he got to the point where he was moving on, and he bet me if I jumped off of the roof that we had climbed up on after he stole the ladder, that he'd give me his Nintendo if I jumped down. And after I did and pulled about every single ligament in both my ankles, I got that Nintendo.
Oh my God.
So that's where it started.
Wow.
And the game on that Nintendo that I liked the most was Tecmo Bowl.
That's awesome. Tecmo Bowl was great.
Bo Jackson and Walter Payton for the win.
That was a great game, and that was a great system. Okay, so I want to know now, when did you become aware of Destiny, and at what point did Destiny really have you hooked? Because I feel like you're one of those gamers who can very easily pick up and drop games. If you're not interested in it, you're not interested in it, you just move on. I see you all the time talking about playing these other games, but I feel like Destiny has its hooks in you and it keeps pulling you back. Where did Destiny start for you, and when did it hook you?
Well, I got into Destiny mainly based off of Halo. To go before Halo, shooters really started for me with GoldenEye on the 64. I never owned a 64, but I had friends that had them for years, and we played GoldenEye religiously.
Yes.
I'm still wondering to this day if GoldenEye is what made most people inverted, because I'm inverted and I can't play any other way. And I'm pretty sure GoldenEye had something to do with it, but I'm not sure.
Was that default in GoldenEye was inverted?
I can't remember, but I swear most of the people who are around and playing GoldenEye religiously like I was, a lot of them have said to me that they play inverted to this day. So I don't know. Maybe there's a connection, maybe there isn't.
Yeah, I am an inverted player, so much so that if the game doesn't offer me the option to invert, I just can't do it. Like I get seasick, and I don't really want to retrain my brain up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I played the crap out of GoldenEye. Like that was probably the first real party game.
Yep.
Sharks, you're not muted, Sharks. Just so you know.
Sorry.
That looks
GoldenEye
good.
was really
It'll be
yummy.
the precursor to.
It looks really yummy. I'm hungry. We're an hour late. I'm super hungry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. All I heard was that looks good. Yeah, you should wear the banana.
Not wear the banana. What the hell?
No, GoldenEye was amazing, and it was in that point in time where I really started like going to friends' houses to sleep over, and just hours and hours and hours of GoldenEye. And then it ended up branching off into like that South Park game where you shot that cow out of a cannon and it landed on people's heads. It's disgusting. And then like Turok 64 also had a multiplayer component that but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to find out if GoldenEye is inverted because yeah, I love inverted. And
I know it had the weird controls where you moved with one stick and then you had the 4 yellow buttons that you had to aim with. So I don't know if they were in the yellow buttons were the aiming buttons, and if they were inverted, I think they were the aiming buttons.
It was for GoldenEye. You actually used I think there's a couple different control schemes, but the default one was you hold down L1 and then you use a stick to look around, so you couldn't move and attack at the same time.
And it was horrible. It drove me insane.
Maybe that's why I changed it.
The game that I remember,
and maybe that's why I beat all my friends in GoldenEye.
The game that I remember having the C stick, not the C stick, the C buttons be aiming is Quake 64, I think, was the first game.
Interesting. I did play a lot of Quake 64. Okay, excellent. Let's see. Let us go to our panelists. Jez is like renowned for his amazing questions, and I want to make sure to get his out of the way first. So, Jez, what amazing question do you have for our very special guest, Maynard James?
What I want to know. Are you planning on making any Perfect Circle CDs?
Nope, Emotive's the last one right here.
Is that true?
No, I don't know. They apparently just announced or just performed a new song, so
yeah,
there's something in the works. And they're touring. I was gonna go see them in California, but
I also called it a CD and not an album. Like CDs are still a thing.
Yeah, that was pretty funny, Jez.
But no,
right.
I can't think of anything to say.
Excellent question, Jez. Thank you very much. Sharks, what question or questions do you have for Maynard James?
Okay, so my first question is obviously you are known for PvE because of something that I'm sure Agrios will bring up in a minute, so I'm not going to go there. But a lot of people don't realize that you're pretty badass at PvP. Why? What is it that's brought you into the PvP realm? I mean, obviously there's a lot of different steps to get to that realm, and Destiny, some people don't even go that way. You know, they just choose the route of PvE. What brought you into PvP, and why are you so good?
I'm not that good. The skill gap in Destiny is about 50 times bigger than any other shooter I think I've ever played. So where, a Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I could say maybe I was in the top 30%. In Destiny, I'm probably in the bottom 30%. So, but as far as the PvP goes in Destiny, I bought Destiny solely for PvP. I played the beta. I didn't like the single player. I've never been into any sort of single player or co-op experience aside from maybe Hitman. So I bought Destiny with the sole purpose of playing PvP, and vanilla PvP was not really enjoyable for me. The auto rifle dominance and just everybody running around with Suroses that hit for like 45, I think it was, for a headshot. So like a 6-shot kill, 4-shot, 5-shot kill. I don't know. It was crazy. So yeah, I slowly got into PvE, very slowly. I probably didn't touch Vault of Glass until a month after it came out. Crota's End I got into slowly, and the Flawless Crotas were where I made my name. That was not how it started out, to say the least. Probably spent 40 hours trying to beat Crota hard mode with my raid team on Xbox before we finally did it. We had many people offer to come in and help us, but we were pretty dedicated to keeping our team. We had a pretty small team of maybe 7 or 8. We would have a couple rotate when they weren't available, but we had a pretty small dedicated team for raiding, and through Crota's End and King's Fall, we were pretty tight knit. But yeah, it wasn't easy the first time on hard mode Crota.
So how would you class your play style? Are you, now that you've kind of branched yourself out, do you class yourself as a PvP player? do you class yourself as a PvE player, or are you one of those mixed groups, which is what I personally am in?
As far as PvP, the only thing that really attracts me at this point is Trials, and ever since Year 3 came around, Trials has been about 10 times harder, it feels like. So the first, like I'm sure you remember, the first 4 or 5 weeks, we were getting 5 wins. We got 7 once. You know, we're not a great Trials team, but we try our asses off, and it only got harder as the as Year 3 went along, and so my love for PvP has faded quite a bit, especially now with all the new raids, a new one every week. The raids have definitely taken over my Destiny time.
Just for all of you out there, I already knew this because trying to get my 2 Trials partners to play Trials is almost impossible these days. Okay. All right. But I do have to give Maynard a little bit of credit or a little bit of leeway because he had to move and he's got a new job and he's got all these excuses. But one of these days I'm going to pull him back into Trials.
Right now would probably be the best time, and I haven't been doing it. So, you know, maybe by the time everybody's played each raid once, then they'll start moving on to PvE or PvP a little more.
Excellent. Was that it?
Yeah, I'll let somebody else have the panel for a bit.
Sharks. Agrios, what questions do you have for Maynard James?
Well, I'll go right into what Sharks is alluding to there. You're quite the flawless raid master. You've taken quite a few Guardians on their flawless journey, and when you do, you do all the work. I mean, if they're capable, I'm sure you let them help. But I mean, you are solo flawlessing those raids when you're taking them through, more or less. They just have to follow your instructions and stand where you tell them. And it's quite a list. How many is the list at right now?
The list is probably set in stone at this point with the changes they made, and it was at 56, I believe. I wish it would have been a lot more, but I took about a 4-month break when I was into Battlefield and Hitman, and I wasted a lot of time. I could have helped a lot more people.
Well, I mean, the time you did put in, that's an impressive number. I mean, most people have made it through flawless once, maybe twice because they helped a friend or two, but 56 Guardians taken through on their flawless, that is very impressive. Right?
Most of the runs were just me and one other person too, just because it's hard to get a group that needs it, get a group that's interested, and most of them were just me and one other person.
Well, the more people, the more odds someone's going to screw up too, right?
True. Yep. I did find on the PlayStation side toward the end, it was something I didn't take advantage of till the very end, was Sherplane to jump somebody up on top of the tower at the bridge. That was something I could have used back in the day when it took 20-30 minutes to get somebody up on that tower.
Was that what you felt was the most difficult aspect? That's my next question. What would you feel was the most difficult aspect of Sherpaing these flawless?
The Death Singer occasionally got me, and getting people up on top of the tower was definitely the hardest part.
How fast did you have these down to on average?
I'd never timed them. I wasn't interested in timing them. I was just interested in getting it done and trying to be as careful as I could.
Because I imagine it was, to a science for you, but at that point, 56 times in, I mean, that's definitely got to be like a science to you at that point.
I want to indulge. Okay, this is a lot of this is really a lot coming from Agrios, because Agrios and I we would do this shit. We loved that raid. That was probably our favorite raid, at least at the time. And so for him to give you these compliments, you got to take them. You got to really take them, because he doesn't compliment anybody. He really doesn't. Okay, and for him to indulge you like this, I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, okay,
I appreciate it. That's. I know you guys were always talking about taking people through and Sherpa and people through Crota back when I was probably still struggling. So all my struggling that I did, especially on hard mode, that nearly 40 hours of fails, I definitely took it out on him in those 56 carries for sure.
Excellent. Well, yeah, like Shark says, he and I had it down to a science back in the day ourselves, and I mean that was 2-man. We always did a 2-man, and I think Sharks is probably fully capable of pulling off a solo. He just never had to because I was always there. I think maybe with an immense amount of time I could have pulled off a solo, but I could technically do all the parts solo myself, but putting them all together in order without dying, that's what would get me. That's not
where
the player I am.
That's where it started for me too. Essentially, was when I got the PlayStation. Was right around, right after King's Fall. I would say it was November, right around Thanksgiving. So I had a brand new PlayStation account. I had like no exotics, no anything, and like the only thing I knew I could accomplish without the help of other people was soloing Crota. So I did a lot of solo Crotos before I started doing the carries. And the funny thing was the first flawless run I ever had was a solo flawless run, and that was right before I started doing the carries, like probably the day before I started helping. I think Remy was number 1.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
and I think number 3, he was number 1 and number 3, something like that. Xbox, PlayStation.
I gotcha. Yeah, Sharks and I, our first time flawless was just the 2 of us, right? Or did somebody join us at the very end? Or was it just the 2 of us?
No. We did it, and then we got yelled at, and so we had to go back in there and do it again. I don't know who it was that would possibly yell at us for not taking him with this. But no, it was just you and I.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it went for Sharks and I. So the changes they've made, you mentioned this before, have made it more or less impossible to solo flawless it. I haven't attempted any of those things myself anymore, but I was surprised actually to find out some things were still available, like flying across the chasm with the sword.
Yep. I've seen the flawless run, and it did not look very fun. It required a warlock, self-reses, and it took a long time to get across the bridge and kill 5 gatekeepers solo. So it's not something I think people would want to wade through at this point to get carried.
And someone has done it already?
Yeah.
A solo flawless?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was flawless, but it was a solo run. So if
it was flawless, yeah.
Wow,
no, it wasn't flawless. It can't.
No, it wasn't flawless. Yeah, you can't do it flawless.
It can't be
because
flawless.
You have to die and then res on the other side. Yeah.
Okay, so it is possible to the solo flawless.
Yeah, but it's only the only person that can do it is a warlock.
Yep, a warlock, and you have to die in self-res, so it wouldn't be flawless.
Because
you could solo it.
We were trying it,
and
then Remy joined us, and then Remy we thought Remy got mad because we were screwing around, and left, and then he came back and joined us again. So.
I'll take it. It probably happened. Was that it, Agrios?
Yeah, I'll pass that on to the rest of the board.
Okay, so I just want to make a quick note that Sharks is totally right. Like Agrios doesn't really hand out compliments unless they're worthy, which is also one of the things that's really great about debating with Agrios, is that he is one of the few people that will tooth and nail fight your position until he agrees with you, and then he will just say, yeah, okay, I agree, and now let's move on. But I appreciate that about Agrios. Like, if he sees your side, he will just back down. Like he never had a fight. Like he never had a dog in the fight. So I appreciate that. There's some people out there who will fight you tooth and nail, and then they will, even if they agree with you, they will continue to tell you no, and that sucks.
Now, sometimes I will arbitrarily tell you no, even when I agree with you to begin with, just to generate good conversation.
That's true.
That's
another side of it.
Always.
Okay, Gray. What question or questions do you have for our very special guest?
So, Maynard, my first question: what's your favorite raid out of the 4?
Out of the 4, I like the first three pretty much equally. Wrath of the Machine, I never really got into enough, which I regret. It was pretty much, I came over to PlayStation right after King's Fall. I had, like I said, a pretty dedicated team on PlayStation, including Octane, who's in the chat. And when I came over to PlayStation in hopes to meet fine fellows like you guys here, I didn't really have that dedicated team anymore. I had a lot of people who might need someone, but I didn't have that team. So raiding on PlayStation was pretty tough initially, and even into Wrath of the Machine, I did miss that dedicated team of 6 to 8 people that I could rely on.
Yeah. Okay. And I get that. I think that there's a lot to be said about having a team that you're very comfortable with, their play style, the strategies, comfort with, knowing that everybody's going to execute on what the expectations are for what their role is going to be in any given part of the activity. And it's tough when you kind of merge into a new group and got to figure out those dynamics all over again. It makes any raid twice as long. So with that said, what's your perspective on the updated hard mode raids and the challenge modes? How do you feel about them? Do you like them? Crota, obviously you've done a ton of, but since you like the first three equally, really what I want to know is for Vault and Crota, what do you think of the new challenges?
The Vault and Crota challenges, I loved them. Crota was especially good for me. I didn't have any problems with that. I did toward the end of the week. I worked every day that week that Crota, the new Crota was out. So I had a very limited playtime. And toward the end, I was wondering what it would have been like if I had a couple nights off. And I would have done the whole share play trick and tried to share play the sword for somebody else, because that would have been fun to run the sword twice.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Nice.
That's cool.
It would have been very hard with the lag, because there's a significant amount of lag when you're doing share play, but I have a feeling I probably could have made it happen at least once.
What's
and
your
that would have been worth it.
So out of those 4 challenge modes that we have, we got Templar and Atheon, and then on the Crota challenge, the 2 Crota challenges, out of those 4, what's your favorite challenge what one would you actually like? Just, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do this just for fun, not for the loot. I just love the challenge.
Crota, definitely, just because it's nice. It'd be really cool if I got to the point where I could one-sword him. But it was nice sharing the load with somebody else. If there was somebody else that was comfortable doing it, which seemed like it was kind of hard to find people that were comfortable most of the time. The Vault of Glass Atheon challenge was the worst for me. I enjoyed the hell out of it when I completed it. Don't get me wrong. But the first 2 came pretty easy. My first night off on Wednesday, I think I completed 2 of them. And then I worked for a good 3-4 days on PlayStation to try to get that third before I just gave up. And then we knocked it out on Xbox twice in 20 minutes, which was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and for those that are in the chat, a couple of us here on the show, Remy, Maynard, and myself were part of that raid group, and it was pretty damn fantastic, I must admit. So Maynard, the last thing that I usually like to ask guests when they come on the show is just, what would you like our viewers to know kind of about Maynard James outside of the world of Destiny that kind of affects the player that you are inside the game?
Not very exciting, to say the least. I work in the customer service industry. I don't have a lot of education beyond high school, so I get by. My wife, she graduated and is going for her master's now in nursing. So she's carrying the load here for the most part. But I pretty antisocial. I use gaming to get out and get in touch with the community out there for the most part. Gaming has been really good for me. Ever since the Halo 2 days when I got Xbox Live. So it's helped me out quite a lot as far as my antisocial tendencies.
Yeah, I'd agree. Maynard and we actually live very close to each other, and I'm always pushing him to go get a beer and whatnot because you're super social in the chat, even on the podcast. You're super open, super social, and yet we're gonna have to. I still got to keep pushing on that getting the beer side. But I'm glad that gaming has been that outlet for you, and that this subset of the community, that we've been able to enjoy who you are as a player, and you've certainly done a large contribution to what Guardian 1 is and what we want to be in furthering our mission of helping other Guardians. Certainly you've helped a lot of Guardians get that Flawless Raider, and there's not many people who can say that they've done that.
Yeah, I'm glad to be part of the team.
And we're glad to have you.
We are glad to have you. A note to self and to the panelists and to anyone listening, be careful with your questions to Maynard James, because apparently he's just an open book. I loved your answer to what Gray asked, but Jesus, man. I mean, I have a great view of who you are now, and I think this goes back to why I thought for a very small point in time, I thought you might actually be Maynard, because, and this is my next question for you, is were you ever in like a Tool time? Were you ever in like a Tool cover band? Because when we first started chatting, I was like, man, this guy is like this sounds like Maynard in an interview who's not being a weirdo, like when he's in an interview and he wants to mess with the interviewer, he'll go off on some weird tangents. But talking to you, it sounds like you have the speech patterns down, like maybe how Gallagher just passes it on to another person. The Gallagher today is not the same Gallagher of the 80s, but the show goes on. So, are you planning to take over for Maynard? Is that what's happening here?
No,
you're just waiting in the wings.
I am as far from musically inclined as possible. So no, definitely
well, I tell you what, you picked an amazing pen name. Because I just instantly trust people who are fans of Tool. I don't know that I've ever actually met a Tool fan who was a piece of crap. It just doesn't happen. And a great example is when we looked for LFG players, and that guy came into the chat and he's like, I think at least two of you are big Tool fans. I just sent him a friend request right after that. I told him too. Yep. I said, well, that earned you a friend request. If you don't want to be my friend, that's fine. But
a lot of my friends on Xbox, I got because through the Halo 2 website, the Bungie website, in Halo 2 days, you could search all Halo 2 players based on their name. And it was a lot like PlayStation now, where you could just type in the first few letters or a part of it anyway, and it would show you all the people who had that part of the name in their gamer tag. Whereas on Xbox alone, you can't do that. So a lot of the friends I met initially on Halo 2 had Tool songs or albums in their name. So
that's awesome. That's
not awesome. Not a lot of them did I keep as friends and stay close to. I would probably say the closest one was a guy named Third Eye. He's got a pretty amazing band. He's out of Canada, and his wife, I believe they're married, is from somewhere in Central America, and she's just got this crazy voice. I'll have to look on the computer here later.
Cut the cord. There we go. But yeah, so that was my Halo 2 days. I met a lot of my friends through Bungie's website.
Excellent. Tool really is just kick-ass all the way around. And really, it's like, I imagine it's like when, one juggalo sees another juggalo and they're like, oh my God, we can juggalo together, and so it's similar on that level, because seriously, that's the reason that mine and Agrios' friendship took off. I added him to PlayStation because we were all excited Destiny's coming out, and then as I'm looking at my list and I'm like sitting there in the middle of the night and I'm thinking, You know, like I want to play with other people, but I'm scared to. And I just did. Like I just jumped into his game. I didn't message him, nothing. I just said, this guy's name is Disgustipated, and that has to mean he's cool. That has to mean he's cool. You know, and I jumped in, and he was, and he is. All right. Why don't we get to some Destiny conversation? Want to talk about Destiny. Agrios, was there anything that we left off last week or the week before that you wanted to get to, or do you just want to head straight into whatever you have in front of you?
Well, I think we managed to like get in everything at least loosely. Like maybe we didn't like kind of go into everything as depth as we normally do, but I mean there were a lot of little changes throughout. So I think we more or less covered everything and can just kind of move forward. Now that being said, there's not a whole lot of new news this week. Oh, look at that! Sharks has his new little Cade figure there. There were a couple more pre-orders supposed to be showing themselves. Jez, did the pre-orders show themselves on Amazon? I know you were keeping track of that.
They did not. They did not. Okay, so pre-orders on Amazon. We'll go on Amazon first. Okay, so pre-orders on Amazon were like this. That fast. Okay, it was actually faster on Amazon than it was on GameStop. And I'm pretty sure Jez was kind of keeping track of that because I saw comments on the Amazon orders from him at some point. But from my point of view, it was absolutely ridiculously fast.
If there's ever something that's super rare to pre-order or to buy, there's a website called nowinstock.net that basically has alerts set up for each retailer, and you can actually set it up so it will ding you if something goes on sale.
You can set it up to instantly text your phone, and it does text your phone instantly. And you can literally, without having to go back to the webpage, reply to the text stop, and it'll instantly stop reminding you if it happens.
The last time Amazon had the collector's edition was the 30th of March. So it's been over 2 weeks now.
Right. Now there were actually other collector's editions that went on sale. I don't know if Agrios is going to go in that. I want to throw that before we go to the next topic. And they are actually still on sale if you want a collector's edition from GameStop. But
GameStop Legendary Edition never went away. Is that what you're referring to?
No. Collector's edition where you get the man bag. I'm gonna call it man bag. If you're a woman, maybe you'll call it a purse, and if you're a hiker, maybe you'll call it a backpack. You call it whatever the hell you want.
But you're saying that's different than the
messenger
other collector's edition with the bag?
No, I'm saying it's the collector's edition. It has that. But
it's the GameStop bundle.
That's the issue. Gray hit it on the nose. That's the issue. It's a bundle. It's a bullshit bundle too. Okay, it's a bundle that comes with a really cool keychain, which I would want. It also comes with the Lord Saladin and 2 wolves, little dude, kind of like the Cade. Okay, which again I would want. And it also comes with something that I already own, which is the foam engram set that Bungie sells that they don't have in stock. But here's my big issue with it. My big issue is that the money that GameStop is selling it for, first off, is...
What is it?
Ridiculous. It's on $285.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So wait a minute. That's only $35 more than Bungie's selling the collector's edition for.
Correct.
It is. Correct. It's actually a decent deal if
it's an awesome deal.
If you wanted those things, but
if you want those other things,
they're also just knickknacks that just adding to the price.
Right. And if you already own some of that
my
stuff,
order to that.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Like, okay, so the Saladin on his own is $20. And I don't know how much you'd pay for a keychain. But whatever.
Usually
and
like $3.
Yeah, and then the foam things, I think I paid $20 from Bungie for originally. But the problem is like if you have it already, you're not gonna want another set. And
you sell them on eBay.
No.
You said
no.
yourself Bungie doesn't
just
have.
sell me the damn collector's edition.
I think the thing that bothers me is that it's not necessary, right? It's already a really high cost item at $250. That the upsell on it just kind of feels a little bit nasty, a little bit
I disagree.
squirrely about it. Because there's no other options right now, right? It's either you get the bundle that has the upselled components, whether you like it or not, because you're not going to be able to find one that's just the standard $250 price tag.
Well, that was also just the last thing that was restocked. The without the bundle might be restocked in a week or so. It's just the last time without a bundle it was restocked was the 7th, and this was restocked the 10th. So it's just time.
This is almost like this is such a good deal with what they're giving you extra for what you're paying extra that it's almost like they're bringing the cost of the bundle itself down.
It's only a good deal if you want to buy that extra stuff.
But you can resell it on eBay. If you really wanted to.
No.
Not everybody's as ready to make a deal as you are, Agrios.
Right. Well, and here's the other thing, Agrios. This is the other thing that you're not taking into consideration. Okay, so this comes from my friend and ours, a Guardian 1 member who is on Guardian Radio, K-Dub. Okay, so K-Dub did not order the collector's edition because he missed out on it, and he didn't even realize it until after I tweeted it out, and he was like, oh, what's going on? Okay, so let's say now, okay, he can go down to GameStop and he can order his collector's edition and get all this extra stuff. Okay, let's just say that, okay, all that extra stuff is awesome, but the one thing he can't get, he can no longer get that. Okay, that is not available anymore. Okay, there are no more.
That's what I was asking. I didn't know they were out of it.
Yeah, so they're all gone. So that is $20 part of that collector's edition if you really want to think about it that way. Okay, because when somebody paid $250, they got that. Okay, so it's not cheaper. It's not a better deal. Yeah, you can sell this stuff later on. I don't know. I just think it's really lame on GameStop's part for, okay, well, we've got these collector's editions, but we want to sell this other stuff too, make some more money, so let's sell it as a bundle instead.
Well, to be fair, if you want the collector's edition, someone's going to want all of it. If they're collectors, they're going to collect.
Not necessarily, because you might be like me that's already bought it.
And you just want extra.
The foam engrams aren't really in the collector's edition. It's an extra product with it, and he has a copy of that exact product at his house already.
Right.
Yeah, but my reasoning is you play Destiny, you always want more engrams.
It's true.
This
is true.
Okay, and I know that you said a lot of people don't want to mess with it, but if you put everything extra that you got there with the collector's edition that you didn't want up on eBay for $45, the customer pays shipping, someone would take that in no time, and you would get every cent you spent extra back.
So this is kind of my other side to it, which I totally agree with you, Agrios. I think that you could end up ahead on this if you put a little bit of work into it. I don't really want to put work into it. And I think that GameStop, I don't have enough faith in corporate America to say that this was just happenstance of stocking. To Jez's point, I think this was strategic. I think that they wanted to maximize their upsell on these products, and so they delayed the release of their bundle until after the initial rollout and the sellout of the initial collector's editions. And it's fine for them to do that, right? I mean, companies are amoral, right? They're not good or bad. It just doesn't sit, very well with me that's kind of how it happened.
Yep.
See, I don't see any negative aspect to what you just said, Gray. That just seems like intelligent being a store.
See, my point was they're not your only option.
Well, they are right now.
They are right now, but I'm just saying that the restocking is sporadic and it's not.
Right.
It's
and
not.
I hope what you're saying is true, because for right now I still don't have one on order. This is talking about Mr. 3,000 hour guy loves Destiny. He's gonna play Destiny 2.
Loves
Wants to play the
purses.
beta.
So
Wants
really,
to
loves
play
dolls.
alpha that they haven't
$5
announced
is the
yet.
difference between you getting the collector's edition you want and not when you're already paying $250 for it. Really, $35? You're not going to pre-order it?
No, why am I going to pay $35 extra for something I don't need?
Well, you're not. You could resell that if you really want to. How much do you want the collector's edition?
I don't do eBay. I don't do eBay. And I don't have $30 extra.
You're
Just
gonna
saying.
get Shark squeezing on those stress balls here in a minute if you keep up with this line of conversation.
So, like when I tried to convince my wife to get this collector's edition, I was that close, and then they sold out. She was like, "Okay, well, you save money anyways." Then when I said, "Oh, well, they have it at GameStop for $285," she just looked at me with evil eyes.
Okay, so maybe you should try this, Sharks, because this is my tips and tricks. Hopefully, she's not listening. She got other podcasts to listen to. This is how I get what I want around this house. I present the information to her factually. Oh man, they just announced that there's this bag. There's this collector's edition with this bag and this other stuff. I don't really think I need all that crap though. And then I let it roll around in her mind for a little bit, and then she brings it back to me by saying, "I think you do need that stuff. Like this is my only hobby. Like this is my only active hobby. I make music and I paint miniatures and I like to skateboard. But really, this is Destiny is the only thing I've been doing for the last couple of years."
I'm gonna call bullshit, and the reason I'm gonna call bullshit is because for those of you that are watching this stream right now, you may not know, but Gray and we do a pre-show, okay, with Mark Square, and on this pre-show we had Remy's wife, and I kind of dropped the ball and said, "Oh, Destiny 2 is probably going to be on PC," and everybody gave me a hard time. It's like, "Oh, I'm putting my friend, out there, screwing everything up." And she's like, "Oh no, he gets everything he wants when it comes to tech. So don't give me that shit."
No, dude, you just said the same thing that I said, except for I told you how I do it. Like I just told you that I get what I want. I told you how I get what I want, and then you're like, "No, I call bullshit." She says you get everything you want. What are we arguing about here?
It doesn't work with everybody. Okay. All right.
So Maynard, what do you think about these collector's editions? You've had a shit ton of expenses lately with all your moves and whatnot. I'm broke as shit too. What do you think about the situation with the collector's editions?
This collector's edition is $100 more than the last one?
Well, the last one was
I mean the first one.
No, the last one was $200. The Ghost edition.
No, the original one was $150.
Yeah, the Ghost edition was $150.
Oh, $150? Okay.
Like I said, when I first got into Destiny, it was solely for PvP, and I wasn't interested in. I did get the one with the DLC, but I didn't get the Ghost edition. I ended up getting the Ghost on eBay about a year ago, I think, maybe a year and a half ago, for $80. So I got that. And the thing is stupid as all hell. If I get the last time I fired it up, it said 3 things. The first one and the third one.
What are you talking about?
The first thing it said and the third thing it said were the exact same thing.
You know what that extra $100 is giving you?
It's as bad as RNG in Destiny.
The extra $100 is giving you something you can actually use.
I mean, if you want a man purse or a regular purse.
I want a man purse all the time.
I don't really understand why it's a man purse when it's a messenger bag.
Yeah, I'm not that.
Man purses are messenger bags.
No, but
Vice versa.
I've got a briefcase. I've got a briefcase that I took my PlayStation and my PlayStation Pro back and forth between the two houses. I'm happy with my $20 briefcase, so I'm good there.
Okay, so would you want though? Let's just say that somebody was going to offer it to you for free for no cost, or they were going to give it to some other Destiny superfan. Is it something that you would even want, like just for free? Because for me, I would take it, like as part of the lore, as they're trying to build up around this new character and it being Destiny. Like I would take it. But I feel like it's just like I feel like I'm not really that interested in the bag. But I mean, if somebody was just going to give it to me, I would love it and cherish it as if I did pay $300 for it. So I mean, does it even interest you on that level?
It probably will, just like the Ghost did after the fact, after it's 3 times more expensive on eBay. But as of right now, I
I'd take it if someone gave it to me. I'd pay half price, but no, I'm not throwing $250 at the collector's edition.
Because I knew like right off when they announced that there was going to be this ghost in with the collector's edition, I knew that I had to have it. Like I felt like I had to have it. I don't feel like I have to have this. I feel like I'd like to have it, but I don't have to have it.
But it's Hawthorne's bag.
So I kind of caught myself. Go ahead, Maynard.
I think the time that the original collector's edition was available, I probably didn't even know what a ghost was. So I was not in the same crowd as you guys. I was, like I said, PvP, beta, no alpha because I was on Xbox.
Before Gray says his piece, I just want to say this to Remy. Okay, Remy, you have to have this bag because a lot of people are theorizing that this bag is your vault. And you keep saying, you have said for the past 3 years, back me up on this, Agrios. Remy has said this past 3 years that he would throw money at Bungie for a bigger vault.
I have no idea what Shark's talking about.
Oh, Jesus!
Sharks meet undercarriage of bus.
Okay, well, on that note, I would like to finish my point.
What's the vault space and all that sort of stuff, but I have no idea what the hell he's talking about the bag and the vault and what the hell?
What if the bag actually came with a PlayStation Xbox code that meant that you got to have more vault space?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean I would buy that instantly.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, people are theorizing, okay, this bag is Hawthorne's bag. Maybe we'll get a bag. We'll have this bag. We'll carry it around, and we keep all of our shit in our bag instead of having a vault. That's what I'm saying.
So what you're seeing here, Gray, is that this time right now we're usually getting ready to wind the show down. So like we've had a lot more time with sober Sharks before now, and right now what we're getting is the really passionate Sharks. He's like, no, you don't understand. It's going to be like your vault space. You're going to keep your shit in it. That's what you're seeing here. Is that we're just shifted over about 45 minutes.
I see that. So I made a little bit of a mistake when I was reading through the documentation on the collector's edition and the pre-order bonuses. I originally thought that the collector's edition actually got earlier access to the beta than anything else. So if you pre-ordered the collector, then you might get to join the beta 2 weeks before the beta actually launches. And if you pre-order, then you just get to do the beta. Now, that's not the case. Everybody gets early access if you pre-order. But what do you think that if they did that would drive up sales even more of this collector's edition if you knew that you had access to the content before other people? And do you think that'd be a bad move by Bungie or a good move by Bungie?
I don't think they need to because it would sell it anyways. It was kind of a sure thing. They didn't need to add more incentive.
Right. I feel like if there was no shortage to everyone who wanted it, I think that would be a good move. But I feel like hiding something that desired by the rabid community behind behind a limited edition like that, it seems a little. I could go for like a golden ticket system, like, oh well, here's your pre-order, you just happen to get extra stuff and nobody knows how you get it. But yeah, like having extra time with it beforehand. Let me tell you what, I was 1 week away from being in the alpha. Like the week after they announced the alpha was when I purchased my PlayStation 4, and I've never, since I was probably like 17 or 18, I've never felt such isolation, like from my peers and the people that I love to hang out with, than when that alpha hit. Like I was, go back and listen to the podcast. I think it was like episode 3 or something, and I was just totally distraught. I was just totally like so down. So like that could really.
No, I could have given you an immediate access alpha code.
Well, no, I didn't have my PlayStation though. I had the access. I had the code. I had the code sitting there before it even started, and I just didn't have the $400. Like payday was the next week. It wasn't this week.
Yeah.
And that was
I've been kind of thinking about this because
PlayStation. Okay, never mind. I got you.
I've been thinking about this because I really have very little desire for the items that are in the collector's edition. So I've been thinking, I'm the consumer that has money that would want to throw at Bungie, but I don't want to throw it at the collector's edition. The items don't interest me. I'm going to be the minority on this show, certainly. But if Bungie said that you got a week early access to the beta by buying it, I would buy it in a heartbeat. So I'm that consumer that they're missing out on potentially the revenue that I'd be willing to give them for incentivizing something like that.
If they threw that out, I'd say you could have the stupid early access. Just give me the bag.
Man, you're
Oh, now you want to wheel and deal, Sharks? Now you want to wheel and deal?
So, one thing I want to know about the collector's edition that we've probably forgotten about by now, and it's going to be a moot point a week after, but when Destiny 1's Ghost Edition came out, there were hidden codes in the collector edition stuff that unlocked.
There's hidden codes in this one.
Did they say it was actually going to have hidden codes in it?
Well, they said that it's coming with the legendary. Was it a sword?
Oh, well, that's not hidden codes. That's
No.
just
He's talking about hidden codes for emblems and things.
Don't you remember all those
hidden in the
those
text,
shaders and stuff?
in the flavor text of things. So Gray, I hate your idea. It's terrible. I do not like the idea of just the people who can afford it getting a week early access. I don't like that early access being locked behind the people who have an extra $200 to throw at nothing. Like, just because your parents are poor doesn't mean you shouldn't get to play with your friends that first week.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the same.
You can make all the extra digital content in the world you want, but the access to the actual being able to play with your friends behind that, I don't like.
I mean, if you want to get really granular, that would also count being able to buy a PlayStation for the alpha.
That's true. I did get locked out because I wasn't able to buy it. You know what, though? I definitely would. I'm in the same boat as Gray over here. Like, I'm not particularly interested in the stuff as far as, trading my dollars for those things. Like, I am very interested in them in that they are part of this Destiny universe. And, especially like all the little things that they could have in there, like the inserts with the the information. Like, I think all of that stuff is really cool, but I feel like the dollar amount is just too high for me. But yeah, if they said, a week early access, 3 days early access, I would buy it. I would buy it instantly. I would raise an army of children to talk my wife into purchasing that for me.
Okay, so here's what I think would be like along the lines of what you're saying, Gray, and I think they have the potentiality to make a lot of money off of it doing it this way. Is if there were two different massive collector's editions. If there was the regular edition, there was the digital deluxe / GameStop's legendary edition for $100 that comes with the season pass and the little bit of extra content that's with everything. And then you had a whole separate digital edition, collector's edition, a high-priced one, like $150 or maybe even more than that, $180. Had a whole bunch of interesting little like emotes and in-game content exclusive to that edition. Then for some prorated pack minus just the cost of the game, like $120, just take the cost of the game, $60 out, you could get all the extra content from that collector's edition too. Because then what you're going to do is the hardest core collectors, you're going to double sell a collector's edition too. You're going to sell the physical collector's edition too, and then they're going to buy the digital collector's edition add-on pack for the $120.
Well, and
or the whole game digitally.
I think my point is missed a little bit, Agrios. Because I think my point is missed a little bit here. It isn't the fact of the economies of it and what somebody's willing to spend or not willing to spend. All right, $60 sometimes is too high of a price point. You're going to exclude a certain subset of gamers out there that they can't afford $60 to play a game.
Yep.
My issue more is that there's nothing in the collector's edition that I want. So putting this in there would be something that I would want. I would feel like there's something in there for me. The rest of the stuff is just extra frosting on the cake, but the meat of the cake is me getting that week early access.
So what I'm saying is, would you alternately have purchased a digital collector's edition for $150 that had a lot of exclusive in-game digital content that was in no other edition? Would you have opted to select that instead of the bag edition, which you don't like the contents of?
No, because I'm not a collector, right? So that extra stuff, unless there was something really particular about it that I wanted, just the fact that it's content to be had, digital content to be had, isn't enough to have me spend money to have it.
Can I be mean for a second?
No.
And I'm sorry, Gray.
You're muted.
But I'm not muted. You can't hear the start of that sentence.
Don't let him talk. Don't let him do it.
For a second, Jez?
You don't matter, Gray. It's gonna sell.
Yep.
You
know what?
without
I don't
you,
like
Greg.
agreeing with Jez, but I'm going to totally agree with Jez because it's true. It's true. This is why Eververse keeps going. This is why, even though there are people on this podcast that refuse to spend money, it still goes, and it's those sales that keep it going. So your comments, like what Jez saying, don't matter at all, and it sucks. That sucks.
I think
It needs
the
to be
digital.
some extra value menu meal version of game orders.
I think they need a digital collector's edition that has like complete access to everything Eververse has on day one. That I think people would buy, as opposed to a messenger bag. If you could have all the emotes, all the whatever Eververse is in Destiny 2, if you had complete access for like the first DLC period, like that first couple months.
You could probably get that. It's probably about $777.
Yeah.
And again, I think my
here-
point was a little bit lost. I'm not worried about Bungie. They are more than fine, and they will sell as many of these as they probably can produce. All I'm saying is that I didn't feel like there was anything in that collector's edition that really made me want to buy it.
Right. Well, okay, so I'm gonna go on Gray's side for a second, even though I just went against him with Jez. Okay,
Like
so
an asshole.
No, I know. So here's the thing is like this is all about sales, and Agrios actually brought up a good point. This would be better for Bungie to do this, to sell more. It really is. It's about grabbing somebody's attention for whatever it is they want, whether it's a collector. In this case, for me, it's a collector and wants something really stupid. All right. And a lot of people would say it's stupid. Okay. And I think it's really awesome. My wife, she goes, "Why do you want that Happy Meal toy?" She really said that, and so, it's like, they're just trying to lure us in, and it's working. A lot of the people that are willing to throw that money at the screen, Dear Bungie is one of them. He wants to throw the money at the screen, but it's got to be something that you want. Gray's not willing to do it. I would have been willing to do it, even though I don't have the money. It's like, where is that line? And Bungie is trying to figure out what it is that everybody will want and everybody will buy.
Gray, barring access to the actual game itself, what would you want in a collector's edition?
Good question.
Like, let's say that they were going to throw in that Hunter A3 figure in with it. That might be enough to make even. So I didn't play Destiny 1. I think the Ghost is actually a pretty cool item.
Very cool.
That is a better
So
incentive.
you're like the person who wants the statue collector's edition.
I want a toy, right? A specific toy item that actually interests me. So yeah, it would have to be something Destiny related that is unique to that and somewhat limited. Like, I really liked when they had the PlayStation Taken King bundle, and you had all the cool decals and graphics on the PlayStation. Things kind of like that are what would potentially interest me from an item perspective.
What are your thoughts on this?
Destiny branded.
I'd give you
PlayStation
$50, Sharks.
controller?
$50.
No, but that's what I'm asking though. It's like, so would you have paid $150 for the collector's edition to get this?
Let's say, I can't talk about where I was in my life at that time because no, definitely not.
No, okay, so
but right now, Destiny
right
2,
now for the DLC
Destiny
in
2
that.
launches for $150 with that item. Yes, I would do it.
Okay, what about what Maynard's
I
holding?
want
a
that. I
strange
want that
coin?
Maynard. I'm sad that I never bought that.
That was a it was
Mine vibrates and
90.
it's
It was
warm.
$95 if I remember
In the
right.
What?
right
No,
You're
so-
kidding
I
me.
thought it was a little kitty.
$95.
You get no. Okay, so you get the strange coin. I have mine over there. I don't know why I've never taken that out. I'm glad Maynard brought it out. Okay, so for $95 you get the strange coin and you get the
Rise of Iron.
You got the whole game.
Or not Rise of Iron.
No,
it was
not
You got
Rise
the
of Iron.
whole game, Taken King and all the DLC with the strange
Yeah.
coin.
Well, yeah, because Bungie screwed up, and so they gave you the whole game.
Because you got the base disc. Well, the only thing on the disc was the base game, and you got a
But
disc
you could
in there
actually,
and a code.
but you could actually bring the game back to GameStop, and they would give you $20 credit. So technically, it was $75. So
No.
would you
That
have bought
sounds right.
that?
No, I'm not buying
No, that's
that.
right. That's why I thought it was less. You're right.
Did you say no?
No.
You
What
know
am I gonna
I'm
do
sad
with
that
it?
I didn't at this point. At this point, I'm sad I didn't do it because I was thinking the same exact thing you were doing. What am I going to do with it? And now, as I look around my room with all these other tchotchkes I have, why don't I have a strange coin? I need
You know
it.
what you could do, Gray?
Mm.
You could take it out at the pharmacy and go, "Look what I got! A strange coin."
Right, right, and then you'd be the most popular kid there.
Exactly. Oh,
that's
man.
when Stephanie Miller asks you to the prom, and then you have to tell her that you're married.
Yeah. And I'd say probably one of my things. I mean, I'm sorry guys, I'm not much of a collector. I don't have tchotchkes in my office here. The only thing that I actually have are the Mega Blocks because they were worth the $13 I spent on Amazon for them. But the really high priced toys like that, it just doesn't fit with my interest very much.
I can respect that. Okay.
But look how cool they are.
They are very cool. I think they're cool. I just not willing to open my checkbook for them.
All right. I really like this Frontier kit actually, and I'm wondering if we should be reading into this. I mean, I know we shouldn't. I know it's ridiculous, but like the idea of a solar panel USB charger with built-in light, that sounds like something that would be really cool in game. Like one of the things I always wanted to be able to do in Destiny was to turn on the light myself, not wait for the ghost to auto come on. Like that doesn't seem right. But if we don't have a ghost, like many people are pointing out, we don't seem to have one. Having a light that we would have to charge during the day would be really cool. Solar blanket, limited edition steelbook case, the Cabal themed collector's box, booklet with secrets into the Cabal Empire, Cabal schematic. This sounds really cool. It sounds really awesome.
Okay, I do have to say one thing. Okay, this is coming from a collector, and this is I'm trying to play both fields, like what Gray, and I'm trying to go to Gray's side right now. For what they are selling, though, it really is a lot lot of money. It's
it
a
really
lot of money.
depends on the quality of that bag, whether it's a lot
No,
of
it
money or
doesn't
not, to
depend
be
on the
honest.
quality of that bag. That bag is not worth $150.
Depends
I
on
agree
the
with you,
quality of the
Agrios.
bag.
Yeah, the flip side being, I know my wife has spent more than $250 on a purse before. I know it's
Depends on the quality of that bag, I'm telling you.
No, I agree with you, Agrios. I agree with you. It does. If I could look at it right now, I would be able to make a more informed decision. But when I look at it, it looks like it's going to be small. It doesn't look like it's going to be a very big bag.
If
And
it's
yeah,
ornate and well crafted, the size doesn't matter that much.
well, I mean,
Made in Hong Kong.
It's really what you do with it, not the size.
No, it really
Made in
is.
Hong
It's made in Hong Kong.
oh man,
Hey, and
sharks, that's
I'm
so
not
funny.
dissing Hong Kong because these are made in Hong Kong too, okay? But it's made in Hong Kong.
All right, we should move on. We should move on to bigger and better things. Agrios, what do we have in the world of Destiny?
Well, we're getting close on time, so I'm just going to... We need to talk about Iron Banner.
Let's talk about Iron Banner.
Mm.
Sharks, what do you have to say about Iron Banner this week?
Lag. Lag. More lag. Okay, so I I love Iron
Is it
Banner.
worse than normal? I haven't got a chance to play it.
Okay. I know
Why
you.
is it worse,
I know
Sharks?
you went to me. I know you went to me because you know I love Iron Banner, but that playing Iron Banner this week has made me hate playing Destiny.
Ooh.
It's really that bad. Okay, so
Why?
What? Why?
Why? What did they do?
98% of the games are lag fests.
Are you connected to people all over the world? What is the problem?
You tell me. What's
Okay,
the
wait.
problem? Okay,
I want to throw in something.
Okay.
What's that? I just want to throw in really quickly that this last week in Destiny, I have been booted more with beetles and baboons than I have in the entire 6 months leading up to this last week. So I'm wondering if there's a link between me getting booted, period, and everybody having these really incredibly laggy, incredibly offset games, because it's not just you, Sharks. Like a huge portion of the community on Twitter, it has been posting screens of, like jumping into games, that are so lopsided. There's like 2 people left. I think that you posted a picture, right, Sharks?
Oh yeah, I posted. That was from today. Okay, so
you 0-0, the person above you 0-0, the person above that 0-2, and then the person above that like 2-6.
Literally my first game today. Okay, and I played other games, this week, but my first game today, I was coming in, and there was me and another ship coming in. You could see the other ship, and you could hear that the match was going on. I'm completely used to that. I'm completely fine with that. I know that you have issues with that, Remy, and I kind of do too. But I've just gotten used to that over the time that it's just going to happen. As I'm landing, it's whatever it was that Shaq said. The match was over, and the black screen finally disappears, and it says, you lost. And I'm like, I didn't even put my feet on the ground, and the game's over.
I'd rather that than play and still get that screen.
Yeah, no, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. So so I understand there's going to be lag. Horrible lag. Worst lag ever. I understand that you're going to go into games that are already ongoing. Really sucks. I understand that they're going to put you in matches that aren't full lobbies because there isn't a lot of people playing. There's a lot more people playing now than there were a couple months ago, but fine, there's not a lot of people playing. So that's going to happen. But to put me into a match that's literally all over and I can't even fire my gun, it's just ridiculous. This Iron Banner sucks. Absolutely sucks. 98% of my games have been horrible. 2% have been okay. That's not good. That's really bad odds. And if they're trying to bring people back to Destiny we're going to have Destiny 2, people are going to have a really, really bitter taste in their mouth if they're going, oh man, I forgot how crappy it was. It's really bad. And then leave again and say, forget that, I'm not going to buy Destiny 2. All right.
Do you think they're testing things for Destiny 2?
Yes.
Maybe, but I don't think that they should be at this point. At this point, they should be all ready to go.
So I just want to bring up a couple of points. I think that you, Sharks, are dead on. And dear Bungie, you're correct too. The other thing I'll add that shows that something is broken here, my load-in times, my waiting times to actually matchmake are ungodly long right now. Like nothing I've ever experienced in the game. And I think that a lot of other people are experiencing that as well. It makes me think either one of two things are happening. Right now, the player base is larger than it's been for a very long time. When I look at my friends list, there's much more people playing Destiny than before Age of Triumph was released. So the whole idea of this whole peer-to-peer connection, the player base being larger, you would expect shorter matchmaking times, and you'd have better connections, better quality of games. I almost wonder if they tweak the settings so far to make this fine-tuned for a lower player base, that actually having more player base, it isn't optimized for right now. So I wonder if we're actually seeing some lack of efficiencies because it's actually not optimized for this size of the player base. The other thing that could be going on, they might be actually offloading some of the server resources in preparation for Destiny 2. So if they only have a finite number of servers that they're going to be using and deploying during this transition, right, I wouldn't necessarily want to set up duplicative servers for Destiny 2 and Destiny 1, knowing that as soon as Destiny 2 launches, my Destiny 1 servers are going to shrink down to being almost non-used, very small player base is going to be using those now. So I wonder if they're already starting the transition of how many resources they're allowing on the servers that they have between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2.
Here's what I think's going on. All the time I've been watching this podcast, every time Iron Banner came around, I always got to this point of the podcast, and I knew Sharks was going to be the only one that said he's played Iron Banner this week. And and now I'm the guy who's saying I have not played Iron Banner this week. That says a lot.
Even I got the rank too.
People are rating like never before, and people don't need Iron Banner to level up if they're even still trying to get 400. Like, you can hit 400 with anything now.
Anything.
A lot of them are doing it for the node, though.
Really good point.
There's 4 raids to run that you can get drops in every single one.
Yep.
Like, and the Iron Banner loot, what I've seen, I went to the Iron Temple and I looked at the gear, and it's crap. Like, there was nothing I wanted. So,
Well,
a lot of people are doing Iron Banner to get their book, though.
There are a lot of people playing right now, but they're all raiding.
Okay, no,
Well,
so Gray is right. Gray is right. There is a reason to go to Iron Banner. It's for that node, but Maynard's completely right. Also, everybody's doing raids, and the reason they're doing raids is because they want the gear. And right now, there's 3 raids that are up that you can get whatever gear it is you want. And as one of my trials team members, we know, in fact, this is one of the problems that I have doing trials, is both Maynard and Velvet will go, oh, it's Iron Banner week, I don't want to do trials, because there aren't very many people playing trials. So now it's, oh, well, screw trials. I'm not even going to bother asking them to do trials this weekend, because that would be insane. Okay, because now not only do you have Iron Banner running, which would take some of the population, but you also have these 3 raids that are open. So you're right. That's what it is. And that's what Bungie knows, that the player base is a big problem, which is why they changed the way that the PvP playlist was. You know, they dropped it down to try to condense people. So, yeah, of course, that's what it is. That's
they probably should have had no new challenges during this week.
Right.
Just wait until next week to resume the raid challenges.
Yeah, they could have done that. 2 raids, week Iron Banner, 2 more raids. That probably would have helped a lot. I mean, hindsight's 2020, I think, maybe in a little bit in this situation. But
and
thinking about it, I'm going to get one character to rank 5, and I'm going to spend the rest of my time trying to get my raid stuff done. That's just the way it is.
They should have made that Iron Banner gear like the best Iron Banner gear too.
No.
Everything perfect rolls, everything.
Right.
Or maybe even go full on and like allow like every weapon to be purchased once you get rank 5. You know, with all god rolls or something.
Right. Or what if they added an ornament node like they've done with revamped it the same way they revamped these raids? There would be something there, because that's the real reason I want to run these raids, is to get the new gear and to fill out my book, you know. But like Iron Banner, there is that node in the book, but the gear is still the same gear. The new raid gear looks fantastic. Even the pieces of gear that I don't like are fantastic looking. They look amazing. And so for some reason, Crota's gear looks the best. But that might be because I've gotten the most gear out of Crota. Like, I think I got one helmet out of Vaulted Glass, and I got one pair of arms from Vaulted Glass. But on both sides of PlayStation and Xbox, I got everything but the helmet on both raids in Crota. Like all the full set except for the helmet. So I don't know.
You know why they didn't do that though? There's only like 3 Iron Banners left. So they would have to make the Iron Banners drop everything in order for you to really take advantage of it.
I see what you're saying.
But as far as the ornaments, I think that would have been a good way to go. That the year 3 Iron Banner gear has all had like amazing rolls, but I wear none of it because it all looked like trash, in my opinion.
You know what? I wish it hadn't been Iron Banner, because I really liked how Iron Banner kind of seemed like, here is a version of a gun you're used to, but it's like the military version. It's the military grade version. I've always really liked that about Iron Banner gear. Like, I feel like it's just a slightly bit like more sturdy or more powerful. And I feel like with this latest round of Iron Banner, it feels like orcs put these things together, which is cool. Which is cool if that's what it was. Like, if this was a faction of like feral guardians that we found out in the city somewhere or out in the wilds, and these were the guns they put together, that would make so much sense. And I would love those pieces of gear, because it looks like wrought iron wrapped together with some leather and some twine.
Well, I mean, that is what happened, right? We found the Iron Temple, and this is all the gear that was stashed there, right?
Is that what that is? Because I never got that piece of lore. Like, where did you find that out?
No, I just assumed that's what's
going
on.
Okay. Sure.
I have to say, okay, so like everybody knows, anybody that's watched this podcast knows, I love my Iron Banner stuff, especially my older Iron Banner stuff, even more so. I don't really like the gear. I'm not so keen on a lot of the new gear, but some of it's okay. But even now, I am not wearing Iron Banner stuff. So, I mean, I totally see where you guys are saying, oh, it would have been cool if they had put ornaments on that. And I'm really hoping that they do something along that lines for Destiny 2. We go back to, this is all like beta mode, test mode, seeing what works and what doesn't. But yeah, I mean, you look at my 3 Guardians now, I think there's one wearing any kind of Iron Banner stuff. Just one piece.
I think it's because this Rise of Iron, the gear is a little bit more Viking than it always used to be. And they're trying to... it's always been like... Well, not always, but they started making it more like knights and Arthurian. But now they started adding some Viking looks. And the weapons this time actually match, but it's weird looking.
Right. Yep.
I put some canvas on my gun.
Right.
Moving on.
Oh, we can't.
Or more
Agrios left.
Banner. Yeah, so I haven't played any Iron Banner yet, and it's mostly because I'm trying to put all of my effort into getting the raids done. I feel like the way they've released these, unless it was like your favorite raid or you want to go back in and get more stuff, that this is a limited time thing. Like, this week is King's Fall, and it's been a pain in the butt for a lot of people. And I feel like if you don't get your challenge modes done this time, there's going to be an even smaller pool of people to do it, next time. So it's raids have really been taking up a large part of my day, but also there is more stuff to do. They give you 3 boxes a week for these different activities. Plus, they're basically throwing out marks at you at a rate that is ridiculous. So you can buy things. There's a reroll at the vendors every week, which is really exciting. It's really exciting to go back to these different vendors and what do they have this week. I think it's really cool. So there's just a lot of other stuff going on, and especially with how much I've been getting like babooned, like the idea of going into a multiplayer game and facing the same kind of lag and BS that a lot of people in the community are facing. Like, it's just not appealing to me. I do really love that there's so many more people on, like Maynard, you were saying. It feels good, and I don't know.
I do want to put one more thing before we go to the next thing, because this is a very, very big thing. It's huge, actually, and that is tomorrow. Tomorrow is Iron Banner and Bruise, and for anybody that doesn't know what that is, okay, that means that you haven't spent enough time with Guardian 1 members. Every single Iron Banner whole bunch of them get together. They go out and they basically drink themselves silly and play Iron Banner. And this time around, I'm actually going to participate. Okay, so come and check us out tomorrow night. I think it starts at 5. Gray will correct me in a second. I will be streaming. I'm pretty sure it's going to be on the Guardian 1 network, and I'm sure a couple of the other Guardian 1 people will be streaming too. But if you want to laugh, come and check out everybody with Iron Banner and Bruise.
I like Shark's drunk promo for Iron Banner and Bruise. He's correct, actually, on both accounts. It is 5 p.m. Pacific time, so 8 p.m. Eastern. And it'll be right here on this channel, the Guardian 1 Network channel. The only thing that I will add is it is super fun. We get a big group in for it. We do some silly challenges. We have some drinking games, and it is a blast. So please come out and join us if you want to enjoy a drink and some very fun Iron Banner with the Guardian 1 folks.
I want to mention, and this is completely unrelated to Iron Banner, but it's kind of been touched on. We talked about the challenge modes of raids, and the most disappointing thing is how low the drop rate is for armor.
Oh, like, it's horrible.
One of the big things that you actually want from this, because
you know why though,
you
right?
get most of the guns really quick. It's because there's so many guns in the pool.
No, but you know why the armor rate is so low is because you can go in each week on whatever raid you want to. For instance, Agrios and I, we went in with who the heck did we go in with? Was it Mark Square? It was a couple people.
Well,
and,
it wasn't me.
Because you weren't on. Okay, and we just ran part of the beginning raid. It's like you can go in and and you can run it every week and do it without doing the challenges and get your armor. But I agree with you. The drop rate is really low, which is really weird compared to how Bungie has really promoted, there's loot. And you're right, there's really not loot right now at all.
Well, all right,
dead air. That's great.
Yeah.
Agrios, you're muted.
Yeah.
He almost had it.
Not only are the drop rates low, but it seems as though the rolls are extra low. Like nobody is getting very high tier rolls on their raid armor, which coupled with the drop rate is, exceedingly annoying because everybody wants to rock their new armor, but it's dropping everybody who's tier 12 down from tier 12 to rock their new armor.
Okay,
and
so
nobody wants to lower their character's abilities. That you want to progress, not
you know what? Okay, so this is the thing. I was talking with my wife, Guru Fu, and I said I'm really bummed that the percentages are low. Oh yeah, I can go in next week and I can get it, and I can do that until I get the perfect roll. But by the time I do that, it's going to be pointless. And I decided, and this is really big of me to actually do this. I decided to go and no, it really is. And I'm going to tell you why, because
I'm sure it is.
This is something I wanted to talk about weeks ago, and we didn't talk about it, is putting ornaments on. It sucks because if you put an ornament on and next week you get a better piece of gear, you have to put new ornaments on that. You don't get ornaments from the old stuff. So you kind of have to pick and choose. You either do it or you don't. You get whatever armor you want and go. You're not going to really be changing it all the time if you want the cool ornaments on it. And so I just decided, you know what, screw it. I'm not going to sit there and I'm going to wait weeks and weeks and weeks before I get the perfect set, because by the time I get the perfect set, Destiny 2 is going to be out and it's not going to matter. And so I've been putting all of my ornaments on, and mind you, you do get quite a few ornaments for doing the challenges at this point. But it's like, just do it. You got to do it and make yourself look cool, because if you don't, everybody else is going to have it. And then in 4 weeks, when you finally get that quote unquote perfect roll, it ain't going to make a difference because everybody else is going to been rocking this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Now, what this had to do with what I wanted to say like 2 weeks ago is I'm actually really pissed off about how ornaments are, because I did this with my old gear, with my Wrath of the Machine gear. I never put the ornaments on. And I was like, oh, well, next week I'm going to get this. I'm going to run it again. Maybe I'll get this better tiered gear, and I'll put the ornament on then. And I was like, it's not exactly the perfect roll. This isn't exactly how I want to run it. Even though I was running the damn raid every single week with that gear, I was like, it's not really what I want, so I didn't put the ornaments on. Then this new content came out, and I was like, okay, well, I know the new content's coming out in 2 weeks, so, and they're talking about new ornaments. So I'm going to keep my ornaments. I'm not even going to put it on my gear, even though I really want to do it. And then, you know, if that becomes available, maybe I'll put it on then. And then, boom, all your gear that had ornaments gets the extra slot, which is really cool. That's the awesome part. But the slot that was the old ornament no longer takes the old ornaments that you would get in the raid. So you had to trade those in for 2-to-1. So basically, I completely screwed myself over all those ornaments that I had used in order to actually put it on. So the whole point of this is just go out and do it. Get your gear. Doesn't make a difference if you get the whole set. Get whatever gear you have. If you have the ornament, put it on. Make yourself look cool, because that's the whole point of having all these ornaments on.
I think Destiny's really trying to stress just play. Stop hoarding.
Right. No, totally. You're totally right. And it's taught me. I mean, I've become a lot better.
Hoarding game.
No, yeah, I've become a lot better hoarder than I was. Like, if you ask Agrios and Remy 8 months ago, you know, I was a bad hoarder. 7 months ago, not so bad. 6 months ago, and then they'd say, "What the hell happened to you, Sharks? You don't hoard anymore. You don't keep anything anymore. You're not a collector anymore." It's because Bungie is training me, right? That's what it is, Jez.
I still have all the boxes I've ever got collected.
Right, I know this guy's insane. He's got like 100 boxes in his post office. No, but
they only stacked what, 10, 5, 3?
Stuff. Have you put anything on your gear yet, Jez? I haven't looked at your character.
No, because it's ugly. I like the OG Vault glass. That's the only set I'm actually collecting.
Okay.
The rest actually don't look that great to me. I might mix and match with Wrath of the Machine gear, but that's about it.
That's what I decided to do. I'm gonna mix and match stuff. But I mean, my whole point on this whole rant is don't hold on to stuff. Use it, make yourself look cool, and have fun with the game, because that's what the game's for.
You know, I definitely agree with you that Bungie is training us, and it is unfortunate because I feel like we were led along. I feel like we were led along to think that, you know, collecting was a thing, and
Deej, it was all Deej. He said we're gonna have this for 10 years.
I feel like there's, you know, they've done a pretty good job of minimizing your vault space problems. You know, exotic kiosks were a big deal. Just being able to delete those and get them back is really great. The shaders and the emblems and, you know, ships and sparrows kiosks, that's all really great. I'm really, really happy with all of those things. But yeah, you're totally right. They didn't give us any more space. And I mean, I wish they would. I wish there would have been a better way for them to tell you that you're not, you know, collecting is not part of any of this. And I mean, it goes right back to year one when, you know, you got one legendary engram a week if you were lucky or whatever. So, you know, every legendary thing you got was like, I need to hold on to this forever because it took me 3 weeks to get. But
wait, I'm going to stop you. Okay. So I'm going to go back on everything I say. And the only reason I'm going to say this is because my wife brought this up. And it was actually really an interesting point. Okay, so like what Jez says, Bungie is training us, don't collect, right? You're saying it now. I'm saying it. Everybody's saying it. That's what they're trying to do. Then why the hell do you have to collect an entire set of gear in order to get a shader and a sparrow?
Well, that was also because that's the end game at the time.
I know, but I mean, it just kind of goes back on the whole point of collecting. Don't collect, don't collect, don't collect. Oh wait, collect right now,
Well,
and then don't collect again.
If you think about it, before they added the reforging, the way that you collect was, well, I need to wear this gear because it's my highest light, and the highest light came
Right.
from the raids, so it made
Right.
sense. And that's also when they added reforging, which
Right.
started to make it stupid.
Right, you're right.
I'm personally part of the fan club of no reforging and static rolls. Give my
I am
shit.
You know what? Okay, so
Totally.
here's something I wanted to talk about. I think that going forward, that every set of gear, every piece of gear, or at least whatever the legendary equivalent is, like end game gear, I think every single one of them has to have an ornament, like some kind of alternate visual look. Because the idea that I can go in and change the way these things look is so appealing to me. I don't necessarily understand it, but as I'm looking at these different options, I'm thinking, like I could have any combination of these, and the idea that this would be added to even just your regular pair of like crucible gauntlets, like here's a bigger pauldron over here, or like left is is emphasized, right is emphasized, like this is something I think they need going forward, because the ornaments are very, very exciting to me. Oh damn! I had something else to say. Maynard, what does your vault space look like? Are you a collector, or are you able to just separate this I'm not going to use and this I definitely am going to use? Are you frugal, or are you a collector?
Up until about 2 weeks ago, everything was jam packed, and then I think Crota Week came along, and I started getting stuff and needed all sorts of guns moved around, and I said screw this, and I got rid of like 40 guns. I haven't run into an issue with armor yet, but yeah, I got rid of a lot of guns.
It feels good. It feels good to get rid of some of the stuff that you don't need. I have been really noticing a lot of drawback to not being able to keep the cool things that I wanted. Like, I was never really a big fan of that Ex Machina sniper from Wrath. It turns out because it was kind of based on that Irene archetype. I didn't really like Irene. I bought it because of what it was able to do at the time, but I never really liked it. Like the way it felt or looked or sounded all did not appeal to me. So I deleted them. So I deleted that Ex Machina. Same thing with all of my King's Fall gear. Like, I had a really good roll on those heavy machine guns. I just got rid of them. And now going into this King's Fall, I mean, all of those weapons that I deleted, all of that armor I deleted would have been like crazily advantageous to have. And so I'm bummed that
You're talking about deleting like a lot of my most used weapons.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's kind of funny that King's Fall is the big stumbling block for a lot of people, because with Rise of Iron we got used to using rocket launchers again.
Interesting.
Like, King's Fall used to be, don't use a rocket launcher, it is subpar.
Oh,
And
see, I
now-
never started using rocket launchers again. I use Sleeper Simulant, or I always use the Harrowed Quillam's Terminus I have.
Yeah, Sleeper is pretty much the best heavy right now.
I just
Except
wanted to
for
correct,
access.
I wanted to correct Remy on the Machina, Ex Machina.
Uh-huh.
It's not the Irene archetype. It's the Spindle archetype, which is why it's so advantageous. It's the same with the Event Horizon, and if you go all the way back to year one, I can't remember the name of it, but there was a green sniper that I used to rock. That was like a
Efforted
level.
Spear?
No.
Green.
I'm
Efforted
talking
Spear was low
uncommon.
impact.
No, Spear was the same.
Efforted-
Oh, you mean green quality. Efforted
Spear
Spear is
was-
actually a green weapon.
Efforted Spear was a
was-
high
It
impact.
was the highest impact too. But yeah, there was one.
Wasn't.
There was a yeah.
That's why I could final
Yes,
round.
it was.
That's
right.
why it final rounded one shot people. Yeah.
Right.
I meant not
Absolutely.
stat wise. I meant not
And-
stat
and
wise
with-
built.
You meant
Scout.
looks.
And with
Yeah,
Field
I
Scout,
meant-
it had a 6-shot clip. It was.
You meant
it was
looks, because
beast.
that's all Remy cares about.
Yeah, I meant looks. Like, I don't like the way the Irene looks. I don't like the way the Ex Machina looks. But that's what it looks like to me, is that Irene. But
Actually,
no,
rocking
now that
Irene all the time.
now that this that the stats are out, and I see Datto using it all the time, and he swears by it. I wish I hadn't gotten rid of them, but what can you do? Moving on. You know what?
Well, before we move on, I just want to reinforce one thing that Shark said, which I think he is spot on. He started his rant was saying that when you dismantle gear, you should get your ornament back, and ornaments are special, and they're more popular now, especially with doing the challenge modes. But it's still something that you have to achieve. And I think, what's the downside? I'm more likely going to dismantle my gear if I know I can get my ornament back and put it on something else. I'm not going to collect things. It actually encourages that mindset of cleaning house and only keeping kind of the best stuff. But like Sharks is going to be holding on to this gear that has the ornament attached because he knows if he dismantles it, he's not going to get that ornament back. We do it with chroma, right? We get chroma back if we dismantle gear. So come on, Bungie. Give us our ornaments.
I'll go a little bit further
back.
Yeah, you do. You
I
get
thought you
chroma
got
from
one
the gear.
chroma from dismantling a chroma piece of armor to begin with. So
Yeah,
if
it
you put
doesn't
a
have
chroma
to.
into it, you don't get 2 chroma from it.
No, you just get the one that could be there.
Yeah,
Doesn't
but I'm
matter.
saying that
It's
you
there
do get
now.
chroma when you dismantle the gear.
They can't do that though, because then people would just get the gear, dismantle it, get the ornament, and then put it on something new. I think what they should do is, instead of putting the ornaments directly on the item, it should just be something that you put onto that slot, type of thing. Like, if you use up this token, it unlocks the alternate version of the boots, and then whenever you get those boots, it's automatically unlocked for you.
Yeah, but that wouldn't give any people any good reason to go back and farm it more for other things next week.
You get better boots. I don't understand. You still need to get the good boots. It's just now you can have it unlocked for all the characters rather than...
right. But now you don't have to get the new boots and get more tokens for the new boots.
No, you gotta get tokens for your helm and tokens for your arms and tokens for your chest.
Yep.
Right.
That's a lot of tokens.
They're making you do these things more is so that there's, in theory, more reason to go do this. But I think that's a crappy reason.
Yeah.
I found that sniper I was looking for, the uncommon one. It's the Gozen C. I don't know if that's the pronunciation, but Gozen C.
I just think it's really funny that your argument is, oh well, they want it, they don't want to do it so that people will come back and play. Most games, I mean, even Bungie didn't even think that this game would last 3 years for the first game. Okay, games don't work that way. So it's like, give the player what they want, let them play to their heart's content, period. Not, oh, I'm not going to give you Hawkmoon for 12 months so that you'll come back just to play for Hawkmoon. That's a stupid way of making your game.
It certainly didn't work with Galahor, and people didn't play feverishly to get that.
Did they? Did they, or were they just like, okay, I'm not going to get it anymore?
All right, we got to move on.
Play feverishly to get it.
Time is a ticking. Agrios, what we got?
Okay, so moving on to some other areas here. The Bungie Foundation is going to be having their Men in Kilts fundraising competition this year. Again, it raises funds for families staying at the Seattle Ronald McDonald House. You just need to cast your vote by donating $10 or more. Every $30 donated will actually pay for a family to stay in the house for one night. And the votes need to be cast by April 28th. There are rewards for donating. The 7/7 ad infinitum or infinitum emblem will be provided for those donating $50 or more. A mailed postcard from the prize above plus the emblem plus a mailed postcard from Bungie's Men in Kilts for $100. Add on a Destiny playing Destiny with a Bungie dev for $250, and a hand drawn or digitally delivered signed caricature of our Bungie Men in Kilts team drawn by one of our kilted members themselves, or for $1,000. A studio tour of Bungie. So there's quite an array of prizes for people who are willing to make donations. They're also going to be having the 4th annual Gauntlet Tabletop Tournament in May. And there's also an array of prizes for that, including the Eye of Eternity emblem, programmer art caricature of you, gameplay with a Bungie dev, and lunch with Team Bungie. So if you're interested in these events, or you're interested in making donations, it's a great time to do so. Get a little something back yourself for doing it, and Bungie's really great for doing lots of events like this. So it's it makes me happy to support a game. The things maybe monetarily that I kind of take with a grain of salt, like a lot of things we were talking about, the collector's edition and stuff like that. Things like this, when a company's very active in areas like this, it makes it a lot easier to kind of take those things as they come, to be honest. So I personally like what you say about money. You know, there's sometimes I'm really pissy with how things are bought in game, but when it comes to Bungie as a whole, they're top tier, badass, super awesome company. They, for an entire year, every single thing that you bought from their store went to charity, you know, all that money. So technically it was a lot more money than what you were paying, because it was also all the items. For instance, I don't remember, I think it was the Titan. Maybe it was some of the other stuff too. You know, that was a $200 item. That money all went to charity, plus whatever it is that Bungie had to pay for that item. So they are a great company when it comes to charities. Very, very good. That's all.
Excellent.
That's all I want to say.
Sharks is like the Pied Piper,
I'm going on my rant. Okay, so no, I got to do this. Okay, so this last week, people were talking to me and they were saying, you know, how I go on my rants. Oh, they love listening to my rants, and I do not want to be known in the community as somebody that is ranting. That sucks. I hate that. I'm gonna really listen to myself. I'm gonna have Jez start like putting things in chat. You're ranting. Shut up. But the other thing is I also don't want to be known as somebody that's really putting down Bungie, because I think as a whole, I think everything that they do and the game themselves is amazing, or I wouldn't be here.
Excellent.
That's it.
I agree. Moving on.
So moving on, we do have a hotfix inbound 2.6.0.2, and they're billing this as quality of life improvements for the Age of Triumph here, and it's going to address some minor issues such as the trials matches that don't seem to want to end, or those endless notifications that pop up when you go to use one of the Destiny apps to move your gear around and whatnot. So they say more to come on this soon, and stay tuned for updates on the exact release date of that. Earlier this week, they were having a problem. A lot of Guardians were having problems redeeming their Age of Triumph T-shirt codes. Bungie says that should be fixed now. If you go back to your page, you should be able to get your code to go ahead and get your T-shirt. Some of the first Guardians started to receive theirs in the mail this week. I've seen posted on Twitter. So those are coming out, it seems, a lot quicker than the previous T-shirts that took a little while to ship for a lot of Guardians. We mentioned it earlier in the show, but people are now discovering that the Age of Triumph ornaments will only stack to 10. And this is 10 total per character between your character and the Postmaster. So if you have 5 on your character and 5 in the Postmaster, the rest of the ornaments you get on that character will be lost. So do be careful of that. Use them up, like Shark says. The next Bungie bounty will be on El Capone, spelled weird with a 4 and a 3 and some such things. And it's going to be in Mexico is the region. That's going to be on April 17th in Mayhem Clash on the PS4. So if you're anywhere near Mexico, I'm in Florida. I'm kind of hoping. But I try to get matched up there and get your emblem. Some great movies of the week this week. A lot of weeks we end up talking too much to get to them, so I'd like to at least make quick note of this here. The first one was a montage edited to some Cowboy Bebop imagery. Defender Bebop displaying the Titan. Honorable mention goes to a montage in honor of a clanmate, and the third one is an honorable mention going to some art being done for an awoken hunter.
Real quick, Agrios, that was the one that won, if I correct right. That was Matt Oshie and Autumn Natick, right? Who put that out?
Yes, that's correct.
And Matt Oshie is the one who does the animation on a lot of the Destiny gifts. He has a specific art style that is just super classic, pretty amazing. And then Autumn Natick has made some awesome montage videos. So them collaborating on this is fantastic. You guys should certainly go check it out if you haven't seen it.
It's
both
great
very
video.
amazing content creators in our community.
Yeah, they did a really good job of capturing the feel of Cowboy Bebop. I love that show. I watched it when it first came out on Adult Swim, and it was fantastic. So they really captured the spirit of it. Thank you.
So that pretty much wraps up what I have for news this week. There is that pretty much wraps up everything I have this week.
Excellent. Maynard, is there anything that we missed? Anything that you think would be that we need to talk about in Destiny right now? Like
in chat here, Octane, I can't believe he's still hanging out. He's East Coast, so it's getting pretty late over there. But my Gallahorn.
I know.
My Gallahorn came pretty late, which is probably why I grew such a fond appeal to Vault of Glass and Crota's End, because I was doing them every week as often as possible. As most of you here have heard in chat, deleted I think 15 characters on Xbox, just trying to hit level 32, because I was the person without the Gallahorn, and I was level 31 for like 2-3 months stuck there, could not get my Titan chest piece. I was leveling up my I'd complete the raid as soon as possible on Tuesday, at least the bridge checkpoint where you got the chest for Crota's End. And if I didn't get the chest piece, deleted that character, leveled one up to 20, which is why I had such a fond relationship with that Goes and See, because when you're leveling up a character and you're trying to complete like the level 8 strike, which is where I think I lost my interest in PvE in the beta, because it was so hard without the right equipment. You need a high impact sniper when you're moving up in the ranks from 0 to 20. So but the Gallahorn I didn't get until Prison of Elders came out. It was the Tannic Strike, the first Nightfall of what was that DLC called again?
House of Wolves.
House of Wolves.
House of Wolves. There you go. Yep. House of Wolves. First Nightfall. I got my Gallahorn finally. I think I had already logged well over 1,000 hours at that point.
That's crazy. Excellent story. Is that all you wanted to share with us?
Yep, I'm good.
Awesome. Gray, is there anything?
If I can avoid clipping this cord again and throwing my phone on my lap, that'd be excellent too.
It looks like your ship has just been toppled by some waves.
Yeah, this cord barely reaches, so if I touch it, not good.
Gray, is there anything you want to talk about Destiny before we leave?
Nope.
No upcoming events you want to plug again or anything like this?
I could wait to shoutouts. Excellent.
Agrios, is there anything you want to talk about before we go?
Well, actually, there's a quick tip, and this is an oldie but a goodie. We used to use this to just simply explore around the Vault of Glass, but many Guardians are probably going to be able to make good use of this going into tackling the Gorgon challenge, or not the Gorgon challenge, but the Gorgon note in their book to wipe out all the Gorgons. Okay, what you can do is if you proceed to sneak through the Gorgons to the jumping puzzle, once you arrive at the jumping puzzle, your raid party is granted the ability to respawn at will, instantly at will, rather than having a no revive timer like you would in a hard mode raid or something. So you can you can proceed to the jumping puzzle and come back and fight the Gorgons after you've activated that timer and revive on your own as much as you need to kill the Gorgons.
My
Very nice
suggestion, I did do a run with some guys and we got to the last one. We weren't using that cheese, but we had 4 Nighthawk hunters, and two Nighthawks takes half his health. So each Gorgon, if you wanted to, you could easily have 4 hunters clear it, and then have some Titans pop some bubbles for their supers. But we were taking them down like half with 2 Nighthawks, and then finish them off with swords. But yeah, if you wanted to go super slow, just bring a bunch of Nighthawks in there, and you'll have a good time, especially with respawns.
Excellent. Another small tip is that right now you are still able to do that cheese where if you enter Vault of Glass and then you run to Section 9, I believe it's called, and you wait there for like 2 minutes, I would say that 3 out of 5 times when I went back into the beginning area of Vault of Glass, the spire had been formed. But you still have to like sneak in. You still have to like take your sparrow up to the closed door and then jam it in and then get off. And you can run down those steps and get both of those chests. So for anyone who's interested in just doing that every week, I think that you get a legendary engram out of each of those. I think one of them is an exotic chest. So I don't know. I know that I was always interested in passing the checkpoint to the Gorgons to get those chests over and over every week. So if this is something that is entertaining to you, you should definitely get on that. Jez, is there anything you wanted to say before we went?
A shout out.
Excellent. Sharks, is there anything you wanted to say before we left?
Yes, I have to bring it up because I talked about it a couple weeks ago. We haven't had a chance to. I want to talk about toys. And of course, everybody knows I love my toys, especially when it comes to Destiny toys. What really spawned this was this beautiful set that I got from Agrios that I finally was able to put together. At first I was going to put it together on stream, but when I was taking it out of the package, I found that some were broken, and they were broken because they would move. And this is the Mega Construct set, which used to be Mega Blocks. My first comment is that company, Mega Constructs, pretty badass. I contacted them, told them what happened, and they sent me all new stuff. So I have brand new sets, and the set themselves is actually really amazing set compared to like the Sparrow sets. I thought it was really kind of it was kind of half-hearted, but each set is gotten better and better. I mean, this is super strong. It doesn't fall apart. It's really cool. So the Mega Box sets, there's a lot of really cool sets out there right now. And just recently they talked about, I say recently, this is within the last couple of weeks because we've had so much stuff to talk about. There's a Cade version of the Mega Blocks. So you can get your own little Cade instead of just having a random Warlock, Hunter, or Titan. So got to go and check that stuff out. The other thing is that soon this stuff is going to be shipped to everybody. And right now, a lot of people have their Titans and their Hunters. There are some people that are getting some of their, I think their Warlocks are actually showing up. The Chatterwhite Warlocks, but the ones from Bungie haven't shipped out yet. that's super exciting. I love this stuff. Gray talked about he didn't want to spend this kind of money on stuff, and it's understandable. Super, super expensive toys, but really, really worth the money to have for your collection if you're a collector. So go out there and check it out. But the last thing is that Todd McFarlane is doing a lot of these sets, and we already know this. These Hunter, Warlock, and Titan variants have actually shown up. He posted this a couple weeks ago, and again, this is something that didn't really we didn't really get to talk about because so much was happening at the time. There's a lot of different stores that are going to be selling different versions of these toys. So for the super collector, you're going to have a lot of money to spend. For those of you that just want a really neat figure, let's say you want that Hunter in its Iron Banner gear with a different shader. There are going to be variants out there. So if you want to check it out, go and check it out on Todd McFarlane's actual website. He has it listed what different ones are available and what stores they're being sold at. But for toy collectors, especially Destiny toy collectors, there's so many really cool things that are coming out all during the summer. If you haven't ordered your Galahorn from GameStop or wherever it is that you can actually order it from, you better go and do it before it disappears, because you're going to cry when you don't have it. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much for that, Sharks. Okay, then that is the end of episode 129. Let us begin with shout-outs, starting with Maynard.
I would like to shout out to Octane, who has stuck around, like I said, the entire show, even though it's almost 2 a.m. East Coast. I definitely had a lot of good times with him in year 1 and year 2, and when I got my PlayStation, that all sort of came to a crashing halt, and I met up with you guys. I can't remember what episode it was, but at one point in time, you guys all revealed your PlayStation names, and I added you all, most of you anyway. I don't think I've ever added Jez. I don't even know what Jez's name is on PlayStation. He's kind of like a
like a recluse
ninja there. So
yeah, like a hermit crab.
But yeah, I was really excited about playing with Agrios. I figured us Tool fans would get together and we'd be smashing it out all the time, and I barely ever see him on because he's on really weird hours, and some of the times I actually meet up with him in the middle of the night, but that doesn't happen too often. But yeah, it's been good playing with you guys, and I apologize to my Xbox crew who I left behind in the transition. I hope to get back now that I've got both consoles here, and I'm not going back and forth between houses. It makes it a lot easier to play on Xbox. So that's my shout out.
Excellent. Gray.
Shout out this week goes to Dakota Dark. Not only has he been running a number of raid groups through all of the raids since they launched, and really he's taken a lot of authority in our Guardian 1 PlayStation 4 LFG chat of organizing these raids, even if he's not participating. And he does a great job of keeping those groups organized and constantly reminding the group who's playing when and what. And it's something that I can't say that I've seen our group do quite as well in the past, and certainly we can improve on our processes, but he's doing the hard work behind the scenes to make sure that as many Guardian 1 groups get in there and have an adequate shot of taking on these raids, and I really appreciate that. So my shout out goes to him this week. And then one last plug, join us tomorrow night, or tonight since it's already Friday, for Iron Banner and Brews. There's going to be some of the hosts of the show, a bunch of Guardian 1 members, old faces and new faces, and it's just going to be a fun time had by all. So please join and watch.
Excellent. Both of those. Sharks?
Okay, so my shout out goes to the amazing Mark Square. This is actually really hard because there are so many people that I play with all the time that deserve a shout out. But this week, since I talked about toys, it's got to be Mark Square, because this amazing Guardian in Guardian 1 sent me this awesome Cade statue, which I would not have been able to get. So shout out to him. And I really look forward to going to E3 this year and handing out some of the amazing art that he has actually given me to give out to all you Guardians out there. So look for me at E3 for Mark Square art.
That's really cool. Very, very cool. Agrios.
My shout out actually goes to Mark Square for one. He kind of helped put it together and whatnot, so mostly to him and whatnot. But my new regular raiding group, we had our first raid this week. Remy and Jelly. Actually, I can't remember Jelly's full name right now because I just
Jelly Belly 100.
Jelly Belly, there we go. Jelly Belly 100, and the whole raid group there, and I'm excited about that. So Sharks is there too, and gonna do some raiding.
Excellent. Jez.
Okay, today my shout out goes to me because I'm vain and I deserve it.
I like it a lot. Right to the point. Thank you, Jez. Well, you know what? I'm not going to shout out to Mark Square. Well, I'm going to shout out to him because he's friendly and helpful and super talented and shares that super talent with everyone. No, forget about it. Okay. No, it is a good shout out. He is a really good guy. My shout out goes to Dakota Dark and to Maynard James because both of these people, like when I was first really crafting the idea of Guardian 1, like I knew that I wanted to have a group that had a really strong core message, and I was grappling with this idea that this person existed out there who is really interested and really enjoyed taking people through this content that is, even for me, feels really daunting. Like I'm in this group with all these amazing people who want to play Destiny, who are playing Destiny, and it still feels overwhelming at points for me to think that I'm going to get any of this stuff done. Right now, King's Fall feels like I'm never going to get it done. I mean, luckily, Bungie has, mistreated me in certain ways, making me think, oh, collecting, no collecting. And so I feel like, you know what, who cares? If I don't get it done, I'm not even... I'm ready for Destiny 2. We've been ready for Destiny 2. But it's people like Dakota, it's people like Maynard who make those things, make the impossible feel possible. And even while it's happening, it feels like magic. It feels really great to be part of something where the person who is helping you out either knows that it's going to work out, or just has the right mentality, like, well, all we have to really do is focus on this. Like it's a magical moment. And even for someone like me, like I've played a ton of Destiny. I've had a chance to play with a ton of people, and it just is really great to have you in the group, Dakota. Really great to have you in the group, Maynard. It just feels good to know that there's a way of getting these things done. And like I'm saying, I'm in this group. I'm in this amazing group, and it still feels daunting. So I can't even imagine how someone who's not in a group in Destiny feels like. Someone who doesn't have anyone to even run Nightfalls with. It feels really good to know that there are people like you out there. So thank you very much, Dakota. Thank you very much, Maynard.
My pleasure.
Also, thank you very much for being on the show. It was really great having you.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it. I wish I had the green screen to match all you fancy guys, but nevertheless, I've got some posters that we haven't hung up yet.
Well, your background's great anyway. He had a good choice, so
right. Some perfect circles, some Pussifer. It's cool. But yeah, if there's ever a point in time where you want to be on the show because you feel like you have something that you want to share with the masses, 23 people were watching this show today live. So if there's a time, please let us know, and we'll have you on the show because it's really great. It's really great to have you in the group. Thank you.
I was glad I was able to help you with that spindle today because that was Octane's job back in the day. I I always, if anyone needed a spindle run, they needed to go to Octane because I didn't feel confident enough. So I was glad I was able to help you and others in G1 with that.
Right. I didn't think it was possible either. And I really just put it up as kind of a joke. Hey, anybody want to run Spindle? And then Lawn Boy hopped up. And then, like, I don't even know why I continued to think that it was going to happen if we didn't have a third. And then you popped up right at the last minute. It was really great. Really great to have that help. And that wraps up episode 129. We would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show or have any comments on something that has already been covered, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.